You've been chasing someone who barely looks back. You text first, you call, you check their stories hoping for a sign that they still care. But deep down, you know the truth: the more you chase, the further they run. You think you're showing love, but what they see is desperation. Then one day, something shifts. You stop reaching out. You stop waiting for replies. And suddenly, the silence that once scared you begins to feel peaceful. You start to realize that walking away isn't losing. It's power. And that's when it happens. The same person who ignored you begins to notice your absence. They start wondering why your attention disappeared. Because here's the secret: people only start missing you when they feel your energy pull away. But the real magic isn't in making them miss you. It's in becoming someone who doesn't need to be chased, because you've learned the strength of emotional detachment. You've been told that if you just love harder, give more, and stay consistent, they'll see your worth. That if you keep showing up, they'll finally realize what they're losing. But here's the illusion: constant effort doesn't always equal attraction. In fact, sometimes, it destroys it. Most people think love is a chase. They think persistence is proof of passion. But what it often becomes is pressure. Emotional pressure. And pressure makes people pull away. You see, when you chase someone, you send an unspoken message: my happiness depends on you. You hand over your peace, your confidence, your focus, and hope they'll handle it with care. But they won't. Because no one respects what comes too easily. It's not that you weren't enough. It's that you gave too much too soon. You made them your world before they even decided if they wanted to stay. And the moment someone feels that kind of dependency, they start to distance themselves. They'll say things like, "I just need space," or "I'm not ready for something serious." But what they're really saying is, "You've made me the center of your life, and it's too much." You tell yourself, "I'm just showing love." But love given without balance becomes obsession. You start to measure your worth by their response. If they text back, you feel good. If they don't, you feel empty. That's the illusion. You think chasing keeps you close, but it actually pushes them further away. Because attraction doesn't grow in comfort. It grows in curiosity. It grows when there's space for someone to wonder about you. Let's be honest. Most of us chase because we fear being forgotten. You think, if I stop trying, they'll move on. But here's the truth: if someone can forget you that easily, they were never truly connected to you in the first place. When you chase, you lose your frame. You let them set the tone, the timing, and the value of your connection. You become reactive instead of grounded. And that's when emotional imbalance takes over. But the chase is never about them. It's about you. It's about the part of you that can't stand not being chosen. The part that believes your value is proven through someone else's approval. That illusion runs deep. It starts early, when you were told that good people wait, that love means sacrifice, that being chosen means you're worthy. But love built on fear isn't love. It's attachment. You chase not because you love them, but because you're afraid to lose what you think they represent: validation, comfort, belonging. But here's the twist: what you're chasing is actually your own peace, disguised as another person. Every text you send that goes unanswered, every call they don't return, every time you replay their last message, that's your mind begging for closure from someone who already moved emotionally. But closure doesn't come from them. It comes when you stop needing their response to feel enough. Because the truth is, the more you chase, the less they value your presence. Familiarity without effort breeds complacency. When someone knows you'll always be there, they stop reaching. They stop investing. And that's why you must understand, attraction isn't sustained by effort alone. It's sustained by energy. The energy of respect, mystery, and emotional independence. When you stop chasing, you shift the dynamic. You create space. And in that space, curiosity is born. It's not manipulation. It's self-respect. It's you saying, I refuse to lose myself while trying to keep someone else. But here's where most people get it wrong: they stop chasing, but they still wait. They still check their phone. They still stalk their profile in silence. That's not detachment. That's silent desperation. Real detachment happens when you redirect that energy back into yourself. When you stop obsessing over their attention and start rebuilding your confidence, your focus, and your life. That's when the illusion breaks. The moment you stop trying to be enough for them, you start being more than enough for yourself. The illusion ends when you understand this simple truth: chasing love never brings it closer. It only shows you how far away you've drifted from yourself. You don't win someone back by running after them. You win your power back by walking away from what drains you. So stop trying to convince someone to choose you. Let your absence remind them of what your presence used to mean. Because the person who's meant for you won't need to be chased. They'll recognize your value when you're not around to prove it. And when they do, they'll come back, not because you begged, but because your silence spoke louder than your words ever could. Here's the truth: when you stop chasing, you shift the energy in the connection. You go from the pursuer to the one who must be pursued. That shift is not magic, it's psychology. Human beings are wired to value what feels scarce. The more available something is, the less the mind sees it as special. When you were constantly calling, texting, and showing up, you became predictable. And predictability kills attraction. But the moment you pull back, when your focus turns inward, you become a mystery again. You stop being the person waiting by the phone and start being the one they wonder about. That's when the power dynamic flips. When someone senses that your world no longer revolves around them, their subconscious mind starts asking questions. Did they move on? Why aren't they reaching out anymore? Who has their attention now? And those questions create emotional tension, the same tension that once made you chase. That's how detachment works. It isn't about pretending you don't care. It's about truly realizing that your peace is worth more than anyone's validation. You see, chasing is driven by fear: fear of losing control, fear of rejection, fear of being forgotten. But detachment is driven by trust: trust that what's meant for you will stay, and what leaves wasn't yours to begin with. When you detach, you create emotional freedom. You stop reacting to their silence. You stop checking your phone every hour. You stop analyzing every text. And when that happens, something powerful changes inside you. You begin to feel calm again. People can sense that calm. They can feel that your energy is no longer needy. And the more grounded you become, the more they start to feel the absence of your old energy. It's like emotional gravity: when you stop pulling, they start to drift toward you. Because your calm creates curiosity. Your silence creates space for reflection. And in that space, they begin to remember who you are without all the chasing. But here's what most people get wrong: they think silence is a game. They think it's a strategy to make someone jealous. That's not detachment, that's manipulation. True detachment doesn't come from pretending. It comes from genuine self-focus. You're not ignoring them to get attention. You're just no longer willing to abandon yourself to get it. You don't have to disappear to be missed. You just have to stop begging to be seen. Think about it: when you stop chasing, you're not punishing anyone. You're simply reminding them that you exist beyond their world. You have goals. You have passions. You have value that isn't tied to their affection. And that's the exact moment attraction reignites. Because the energy that once screamed, "I need you," now whispers, "I'm fine without you." That whisper is powerful. It draws people in. It reminds them of your strength. It's human nature to crave what we can't fully have. When they sense that your life is moving forward without them, curiosity turns into concern, and concern often turns into action. That's when they text, "Hey, how have you been? or suddenly like your old photos. But this time, you're different. You've learned that peace is not found in chasing attention, but in mastering your emotions. You no longer need their reaction to feel validated. Because detachment is not the end of love, it's the beginning of self-respect. It's understanding that love should never cost you your dignity or peace of mind. When you detach, you stop controlling outcomes. You allow life to unfold naturally. You give the other person the space to feel your absence and decide if they truly value your presence. And here's the paradox: when you stop trying to get them back, that's often when they come back. Not because of manipulation, but because your energy has shifted from desperation to independence. You've reminded them of what attracted them in the first place: your confidence, your focus, your inner peace. So let go of control. Stop replaying every moment, every conversation, every mistake. Let the silence speak for you. Because silence, when backed by strength, is louder than any explanation you could give. When you stop chasing, you stop leaking your energy into someone else's uncertainty. You start redirecting it into your own growth. And that's when you realize, you were never really chasing them. You were chasing the version of yourself you lost while trying to keep them. There comes a moment when everything inside you finally gets quiet. No more overthinking, no more waiting, no more wondering if they still care. That silence, that calm, that's the Stoic shift. It's the moment when you stop reacting to life and start responding to it with strength. You've stopped chasing not because you gave up, but because you woke up. You realize that peace is not found in control, it's found in acceptance. You can't force someone to love you, but you can learn to love yourself so deeply that their absence no longer shakes you. When you reach this stage, your mindset changes completely. You stop asking, "Why don't they want me?" and start asking, "Why did I settle for less than I deserve?" You stop waiting for closure, because you understand that closure doesn't come from conversations, it comes from clarity. And that clarity is powerful, it's what separates emotional freedom from emotional chaos. This is the Stoic mindset, emotional discipline. Not suppressing your feelings, but mastering them. It's not about pretending you're fine, it's about choosing peace even when your heart wants chaos. You start to see love differently. You realize that true love doesn't need chasing. It flows naturally between two people who respect each other's space and individuality. You understand that being emotionally detached doesn't make you cold, it makes you centered. Detachment isn't about not feeling. It's about not allowing your feelings to control your actions. You can love someone and still walk away when they don't value you. You can miss someone and still choose not to return to what broke you. That's what makes Stoic detachment powerful. It's emotional strength wrapped in calm acceptance. You are not rejecting them. You are just reclaiming yourself. When you operate from a Stoic mindset, you no longer beg for effort, you expect it. You no longer cling to uncertainty, you confront it. You don't play games, and you don't chase validation. You understand that what's meant for you will not require you to lose yourself to keep it. The Stoic approach teaches one thing above all: control what you can, release what you can't. You can control your reactions, your energy, your focus, your boundaries. You can't control someone else's feelings, timing, or decisions. Once you truly accept that, you become emotionally bulletproof. You no longer panic when someone pulls away. You simply observe. You don't chase explanations. You don't try to fix what isn't yours to fix. You remain grounded, because you trust your own value. Because here's the truth: the one who stays calm, wins. The one who stays grounded, grows. The one who stays detached, attracts. People are drawn to stability. When your energy feels steady, others naturally seek it. It's the law of emotional polarity. When you stop chasing, your emotional gravity increases. You become the one who draws others in, not the one running after them. You've probably noticed it already. The moment you stopped texting first, they got curious. The moment you stopped explaining yourself, they started asking questions. The moment you shifted your focus inward, they felt your absence more deeply. That's not coincidence, that's energy alignment. But don't make their renewed attention your reward. Make your inner peace your prize. Because the Stoic doesn't move based on emotion, they move based on principle. You don't respond to every message out of excitement. You respond with intention. You don't get caught in emotional highs and lows. You remain consistent. You stay grounded. This new energy, calm, centered, unbothered, it's magnetic. People can't ignore it, because it's rare. Most people are ruled by impulse. But you've learned to pause, to think, to choose peace before reaction. And that's what makes you powerful. Detachment isn't losing emotion. It's gaining control. You now understand that your silence is not weakness, it's wisdom. Your distance is not coldness, it's clarity. Your calm isn't indifference, it's power. Because when you finally stop trying to prove your worth to someone else, you start proving it to yourself. You start investing that energy into your growth, your goals, your self-respect. And ironically, that's when people start noticing you again. Not because you begged for it, but because your energy shifted from lack to abundance. You radiate something different, something that says, I'm good on my own. That's what true attraction looks like. It's not about chasing, convincing, or controlling. It's about embodying peace so deeply that others crave it. Because when you reach this Stoic shift, you stop asking for love and start attracting it naturally. You stop waiting to be chosen and start choosing yourself. You stop needing attention and start commanding respect. And that's the essence of real power, quiet, calm, consistent. You no longer chase people. You attract them. You no longer fear being alone. You enjoy your company. You no longer wait for closure. You create it. And that's when life changes, not because they came back, but because you finally came back to yourself. At this point, everything feels lighter. The anxiety, the waiting, the questions, they've started to fade. You've entered a new space, one where peace is louder than noise, and self-respect is more attractive than attention. You're no longer moved by whether they call or text. You don't need to check if they've viewed your story. You've stopped living for reactions, and started living with intention. And that, right there, is freedom. This is the part no one talks about. When you finally stop chasing, the world doesn't end. You don't crumble. You don't lose your worth. You actually find it. You discover that the peace you were chasing in them was waiting for you within. Because the truth is, you never wanted them as much as you wanted the feeling of being seen, being valued, being enough. But when you stop chasing, you finally see, you were always enough. There's something powerful about not needing anyone to complete you. You stop being desperate for connection, and start becoming selective. You stop explaining your worth, and start embodying it. People sense that energy instantly. The same person who once took you for granted begins to notice the shift. Your calm presence becomes intriguing. Your confidence becomes magnetic. And maybe they reach out again. Maybe they say they miss you. But here's the key, you don't see it as a victory. You see it as confirmation. Confirmation that your peace was always your power. Because now, you no longer want someone who needs to miss you to value you. You stop chasing not to make them miss you, but to remember who you are. You've learned that real love doesn't need convincing. It grows where respect and peace live. You've learned that silence doesn't mean weakness, it means you trust life's timing. And you've learned that letting go isn't losing, it's choosing yourself. You no longer fight for closure. You no longer try to prove your worth through effort. You just show up as your best self and let life align what's meant to stay. And this new energy, this calm, self-assured, grounded energy, it changes everything. Your relationships get healthier. Your standards rise. Your heart softens but your boundaries strengthen. You stop chasing love, and you start attracting peace. Because you've realized something powerful, the right person won't run from your calm. They'll be drawn to it. The right one won't need to feel your absence to value your presence. They'll match your energy, not drain it. When you stop chasing, you don't lose people. You lose your dependence on them. You stop chasing their approval, and start chasing your potential. And as your energy changes, so does everything around you. You'll notice how peace attracts opportunities, how calm draws respect, and how your stillness commands more presence than noise ever could. That's what growth feels like: quiet, grounded, and powerful. So let them wonder. Let them miss you. Let them remember what your energy felt like. But don't go back. You're no longer the same person who once begged to be seen. You've evolved, you've healed, you've reclaimed your peace. Now you know that chasing doesn't make love stronger, it just hides your own light. And the moment you stopped chasing, that light came back on. You stop chasing, and they start missing you. But the truth is, you don't even need them to. Because the moment you stopped running after love, you became the kind of person who attracts it naturally, not from need, but from peace. Silence. That's how peace begins. When you finally stop chasing, something inside you settles. You stop checking your phone every few minutes, stop replaying old conversations, stop wondering what you could have done differently. And for the first time in a long time, your mind goes quiet. You start waking up without anxiety. You start enjoying your own company again. You begin to laugh, not because they texted you back, but because life feels lighter when your happiness no longer depends on someone else's attention. And that's the truth no one tells you: detachment isn't about being cold or emotionless. It's about choosing yourself every single day, even when it hurts. It's realizing that your peace is worth more than someone's inconsistency. One day, they might come back. They'll notice the glow in your energy, the strength in your silence, the calm in your presence. But by then, you'll have changed. You won't crave validation anymore, because you've built something stronger: self-respect. And maybe, you'll still care. But you'll care differently. From a distance. With boundaries. With peace. Because in the end, the most powerful love story is the one where you choose yourself.